Welcome to the Crown Sports Podcast. We are very excited to be talking Utah High School athletics with you. I'm your host, Brad Richins.
And I'm your co-host, Niko Klus, along with our producer, Braun Butterfield.
All right, Niko, the 3A quarterfinals are set for Thursday down in Richfield at the Sevier Valley Center. All 8 games have been played, and 8 teams are advancing. So let's go rapid fire here and pick winners this whole weekend. So the first game at 9:30 a.m. Thursday, Emory and Grand County. Who you got?
Grand County, I was impressed with him, even though Emory was impressive as well. I just like the Red Devils better.
Grand did look well against Union, tough Union team, but Emory, that was a really tough game against South Summit, and Emory came in prepared. Kyson Stilson, Brax Jensen, and Cade Brazier lead that team. Stilson dropped 35, so I'm going with the Spartans. What about Judge and Ridgefield?
Even though Richfield is the first seed pretty much overall.
It have been all year.
And, yeah, they're highly favored to win. I'm going to go with Judge just because that's my dark horse that I picked, and I think they're a team on the up-and-coming, and they might be able to make something happen this weekend.
Good pick by you. They squeaked out a win against Delta. Mac Tarver dropped 26, and Richfield didn't look very impressive against Mazer, so guess what? I'm going to team up with you and go Judge. Dark horse it up.
Good choice.
All right, 12:50 p.m. tip-off, Mantine Providence Hall.
I'm going to go with the Patriots. That's an easy choice just based off how well they've played the last month and a half, too.
We talk about how Manti plays well in the postseason every year, but every time I pick against Providence Hall, they win, so I'm just going to hop on the bandwagon now and go with the Pats.
It's typical of you.
Yeah, that sounds familiar, right? And then 2:30 p.m., Morgan and South Sevier.
Morgan Trojans, purely the fact that I'm not a very, very big fan of South Sevier.
I'm going to go with Morgan, too, purely the fact that although I respect Kate's King and everything that Coach Parsons does for South Sevier, Morgan is the deepest team in the tournament, and if they keep going behind Trey Miles, they're going to be dangerous, and they're going to go deep in the tourney. So that leaves Morgan and Providence Hall. Who you got? The 13th seed, the number 1 from Region 13, and the number 1 from Region 14. Who you got?
I think it'll be a close game, but with their... I don't know. I'm just going to ride with the up-and-comers of Providence Hall. And, not really an upset. It wouldn't be an upset. But I think they could win a close game against Morgan.
They've been on a tear for the last 6 weeks. They haven't lost a game. Providence Hall are very well coached, but so is Morgan. And when we interviewed Coach Matthews last week from Morgan, he said that the biggest difference last year to this year is that his players hadn't been there before last year. So now they have a year of experience playing in the tournament. Providence Hall doesn't have that. So although I love the Patriots, I'm picking them over Manti. I can't pick them over Morgan, so I'm going the Trojans. And then we got the 9-10 game on Friday night, Emory and Judge. Who we got?
I'm going with Judge again. I don't think Emory's going to be able to have the longevity with the way their offense runs, where eventually they're going to go cold. And so I'm going to pick Judge.
That'll be a great game, but I got to go Spartans. So that leaves, for you, it's going to be between Judge and Providence Hall. Who you got?
Mm-hmm. Well, Judge did beat Providence Hall earlier on this year.
Some payback, maybe?
They're gonna be on I'd say they're on a revenge tour right now, trying just to pick apart everyone that's ever beat them.
So you got the Patriots in their 4th year of existence taking the title.
Absolutely.
Good choice. I'm not knocking you for it. So between me, Emory, and Morgan, I got to take Morgan. Morgan Trojans all the way. So
that's not a bad choice.
We'll keep track of that and see how it goes. But literally all 8 teams could win.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Any one of them could win.
And then let's touch on the 2A girls. Who do you got winning that? It's really between the 2 front runners, Beaver and North Summit.
I think it's North Summit's turn, just because
it's been so long.
And Kennedy McQueen is just playing out of her mind this year, so.
I watched them a little bit, North Summit against Duchesne, and we wonder how she gets 5+ steals a game. It's because of that press, and she is all over the place. She flies all over.
She can make a shot from anywhere on the floor, too. So offensively, it doesn't matter if you're double teaming her or not.
She had 21 and 9 on Saturday in their win, so I think they advance and win the title. And then in 2A boys, do you think anyone will beat LCA, Layton Christian?
No, last year the Beavers somehow beat them, but I don't think that'll happen again this year.
Fluke.
Because their coach is going to be a little angry about what happened last year, and so they'll be prepared.
So the 2A girls, we both agree on North Summit, and the 2A boys, we both agree on the Layton Christian Eagles taking state.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Going to a sporting event? Don't look like the rest. At TeeTops, you can customize your shirts and apparel with the best. TeeTops. Give them a call at 435-640-6321.
The 3A boys basketball tournament is now set. The quarterfinals starting on Thursday, the semis on Friday, and the championship game on Saturday down in Richfield at the Sevier Valley Center. And down at Orem High School on Saturday, this last Saturday, I was joined by my brother Cole Richins in watching all 8 playing games. And that's about 11 or 12 hours, so we're still recovering, but we were able to watch all 16 teams play and watch all 8 teams who won advance. So now the stage is set for the quarterfinals beginning on Thursday morning, and now we're joined by my brother Cole. Cole, you there? Thanks for joining us today.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no worries. We're glad you joined, and are you recovered yet from Saturday?
Just about. It's a long day.
Yeah, it was a long day. We were there for a long time, but like we said, we were able to watch all the teams. So out of all 16 teams, but the 8 ones that were able to advance, Cole, which team impressed you the most, would you say?
I think the one that impressed me the most is probably South Sevier. It would probably be South Sevier or Morgan. Morgan, they just look super solid. They look very, I don't know, they go 7 or 8 deep. And, well, no, actually they went 10 or 11 deep, and all their kids can play. They have good ball handling, and just very solid team all around.
And what about coach? What coach do you think had their team prepared the most?
I would say probably South Sevier. I mean, coaching, you never get shorthanded with coaching when it's South Sevier. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's a very true statement with South Sevier with all their basketball coaches they have.
Yeah. So I think solid coaching all around with them. Also, Emory. I think that they're coached really well, too. So I saw that on Saturday also.
So, talking about Emory, Kyson Stilson, he had a tournament high. Well, that day he had 35 points to lead Emory past South Summit. So, you said South Sevier was the team that impressed you the most. What about what individual player impressed you the most that day?
I think it was probably the Kyson Stilson. Honestly, like, seeing him play is just kind of a weird experience. But he's very crafty. He knows how to get to the rim. And when he can't get to the rim, he's a really good spot-up shooter. And the South Summit kids were guarding him pretty well. They were staying in front, but then he'd just rise and shoot over him. So there's really nothing you could do. He's almost automatic from the free throw line, so he's a really tough player.
That's a good point. You know, Kel Atkinson had the main obligation of defending him, and he would stay right in front of him when Stilson would attack the rim, and Stilson would just stop, collect, and then just rise right over the top of his chest and finish anyway. And there's nothing you can do, like you said. That's just a tough shot.
Mm-hmm. And he makes almost every one he puts up too. So.
And do you think with a player like that he can make or break a team like Emory in the tournament?
Seeing them play, I think that he has to have a big part in their offense. If he doesn't and their shooting is off, I think they're in trouble, honestly. Like, they play pretty helter-skelter. They play really fast, drive and kick type team, up and down. And I think if somebody can slow them down and stay in front of them and stay on the shooters, I think they can have a pretty tough time. And if they can limit Kyler Stilson to half of his production or a little bit over half, I think that they could be in trouble.
Is there a team that won on Saturday that you're worried about going forward? And why you picked that team that you're worried about them?
About them advancing?
Yeah, so although they won on Saturday, you're worried about them going forward, not being able to make it through.
I would say probably Providence Hall, just because of their ball handling skills. They go 5 deep. I mean, their starters played the entire game.
Yeah.
And I just didn't see the ball handling that I think that they need. Again, they play Manti, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Manti always plays that press in the tournament, in the quarters. And so I think that Providence Hall will have a hard time staying in that game if they turn the ball over, which I think they will a lot with the ball handling that they have with their 2 guards. So I wasn't super impressed there. Their big men are really good, but I don't feel good about them moving on.
Which team do you think has an easier path to the finals?
The easiest path?
Mm-hmm.
I would say Emory will play Grand, and then they'll play probably who's the other matchup?
They play
there?
the winner of Richfield and Judge.
Richfield and Judge.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be a hard component, a hard
I
opponent
feel
either
like
way.
that side of the bracket is easier. I wouldn't say it's super easy, but I would say it's easier than the top side of the bracket. So I'd say probably Emory if they can.
Especially
if
if
the
like,
Stilson kid can keep hot. I think they have the easiest.
yeah, I think
Perhaps
both
not.
Grand and Emory, if they get off to a slow start, that could be in trouble for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a matchup on Thursday you're looking forward to the most?
I would say probably South Sevier and Morgan. They're two very good teams, really solid and really consistent, and good coaching on both sides. I'd be excited to see that one.
And we talked about, we watched Judge and Delta. We watched Judge with Mac Tarver going off with 26 points. Derek Smith for Delta also had 26, but Judge upended Delta, just kind of came out of nowhere. That was an emotional game. Would you say Judge is a dark horse for you, or do you have another dark horse that is kind of being overlooked that can make a deep run in the tourney?
I think Judge could be a dark horse in the tournament. Also Manti. I think Manti gets overlooked a lot. They always pull out that press, and it always seems to work out for them. People just kind of overlook them all year, and they're always in it. I mean, they've gone to the title, to the past 4 years or so.
Yeah, they won it last year.
Yeah, and they won it in 2015, I believe. So I think that I would say they're probably the biggest dark horse. I think people overlook them a lot. So.
Well, even last year, Manti took third in region.
Yeah.
And then when it came to
they ended up
tournament
winning.
time, yeah, they won it all.
Really well coached.
And who do you have winning it all?
That's a tough one. I think the safe bet would be either South Sevier or Morgan.
Hold on, you're in love with South Sevier so much. Like, why? What's with the man crush on South Sevier? Is it just because Coach Parsons is there, or?
I think, just good coaching and just solid play all around. I think if Cates King goes off, then they could have a deep run to the title.
Because the problem I have with South Sevier is they were 4-4 in their last 8 games.
That's true.
So.
But to win it all, I mean, watching Richfield play, I didn't watch them a ton, but they didn't really impress me. Everybody has, a lot of people have them as their favorite. I would say probably Morgan to take it all because they're just the most consistent. So.
Okay, and this isn't about 3A or high school or anything, but Cole, you need to tell our listeners something. So, our friends or anyone who knows us knows that you despise all teams that I like, and specifically, like, not even teams I like, but it's professional athletes who are considered the greatest all time. For example, LeBron James, and in my case, Tom Brady, who is a 6-time Super Bowl champion, and it's the team I'm a fan of. So, but it's February. We just had Valentine's Day this last week, and did you see what he did on other athletes' Instagram posts?
Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, so you saw the kind gestures he posted on, like, Steph Curry's Instagram and LeBron James. So my question to you is, does that change your thought or impression or opinion about him in any way?
I think he is a very good person all around. Just, I don't know, there's just something about him that I just don't like. I think it's probably because he's in the Super Bowl every year and wins it every year. And I just have a deep-rooted hate for him and the Patriots in general. I just want to see somebody else win. It's kind of like the Warriors. Like, the Warriors win, you know they're going to be in the finals every year as long as they have that team. And as long as they have good coaching, they're going to be there every year. And so you kind of just want to see somebody else in the mix and win it. And so I just cheer against them. That's just how I've always been. And I don't know. I should probably change because it's kind of futile to cheer against them, it seems, at times.
So you're admitting he's a good guy as a character? You're not questioning his
like
character, but you're just sick
he's a
of
good
his
dad, and
success.
he's a good dad. He's a good husband. I mean, it seems, and he does a lot of good in the community. So he's a
Okay.
good guy. I just don't like him as a competitor, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we finally have it on record. So, once again, Cole Richins, the better looking and the more successful brother of the Richins younger brothers. We appreciate your takes on the 3A boys state tournament coming up this weekend, and we appreciate your input. So thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
Thanks, Cole.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, see you. Talking about the 3A playoffs, a team that has been consistent all season long and who was dominant in their win this last Saturday against the San Juan Broncos are the Providence Hall Patriots. They are the number 1 seed from Region 14. They didn't lose a single game in region play. They went 12-0, and they finished the regular season with a record of 18-3 overall before clobbering San Juan 79-55 this past weekend. And a major part of the Pat's success this season has been Marcus Sherwood. He is their leading scorer while averaging a double-double this season with 21 points per game and 11 rebounds per game, which is not only first in 3A in regards to rebounding, which is ranked first in the entire state, 1A through 6A. So Marcus Sherwood joins us on the phone now. Marcus, how are you? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing very well. So, Marcus, I feel like I owe you an apology considering
He owes you a very big apology.
I'm going to eat crow because last week on our episode, I picked San Juan over you guys because I watched San Juan against Emory the past week, and I saw that they had really good shooters, really athletic team, and you guys just showed up and mopped the floor with them. So I'm eating crow, and I apologize to you guys firsthand because you guys looked really impressive. So in our first episode, we discussed how impressive you and your team are as a whole. And, looking at your stats, you're averaging this year 5 more points per game and 3 more rebounds per game this year compared to last. So based on this year to last year, for you personally, what did you work on the most this offseason to create that improvement?
This year I tried to get a lot more strength. I was a lot skinnier and I just wasn't as strong. And last year I didn't have the grit. My knees weren't that good and everything. And so I tried to just strengthen my knees and my legs and just all around body. I went to a training and I got my vertical up and everything because I worked a lot on my skills before and I consistently have been doing that. But I try to just work on my body and to get stronger so I can fight with bigger kids this year.
Now, is basketball the only sport that you play?
Yeah, I've been playing basketball for a while. I used to play football, but I dropped that in 9th grade.
And so, with the off-season stuff, what kept you motivated going all year long? Because basketball is kind of a short season in high school, and you have basically the rest of the year. So what kept you motivated to improve?
I have AAU teams and traveling teams. I went out to Vegas and played in tournaments out there. That was really good for me and saw a lot of good competition out there that made me want to be better. And I got beat out there quite a bit and everything. So when I got back home, that's why I started training, is I was getting beat by really big kids. And so I got home and I just kind of motivated me to do a lot better.
Well, you can definitely see the improvement in the hard work that not only you but your team as a whole have put in this off season. And one of those players is your brother Merrick, and he's young, he's a freshman, but he is definitely gaining confidence these last few weeks. But what's it like to have your brother as a freshman? What's it like to just kind of have him under your wing and play with him night in and night out?
It's one of the coolest things I've ever been able to do in my life. We were at Mazer the other week, actually, and I think me and him had a combined, 25 straight points and a combined 53 points together. And that was just one of the coolest games to ever be a part of, because we just looked at each other and after and we were like, wow, this is not many people are allowed to do that and everything. So he's incredible, and he keeps improving and keeps showing me.
And how's that relationship helped you on the court, being your brother? Because you're kind of able to bond with him faster, him being your brother.
Oh yeah, we just keep it really competitive he's always trying to outscore me and always trying to be better than me and everything. So I can't let it happen. He outscored me against Delta and he wouldn't let me hear the end of it. So
that's what little brothers do best.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, so you and Dallin Dodge kind of hold the fort down low, and last week, you had 24 and Dodge had 24 and you had 22. And then your ball handling skills, you got Ben Morales and Parker Green's kind of the shooter along with your brother. So you're very well rounded. But like Niko said, you know, you guys look motivated. But what's been the motivation for your team this year? Because you guys, you know, just these 5 guys, you guys kind of came out of nowhere where not a lot of people expected you guys to be this good. So what's been your motivation?
We started off the year, so Ben Morales, he's played a lot of JV, and so has Dallin and stuff. And when they moved up, those two bring so much energy, especially Ben. He's just crazy and is absolutely bringing the energy and the effort all the time. So that helps our squad out a lot. And then, yeah, we're so well-rounded. When we lost to Grand in the beginning of the year, and then, like you said, a lot of people saw that and were choosing San Juan over us. And that's what we were talking about in the locker room before we went out. And that really motivates us, and we try to play with as much effort as possible and trying to work harder because everybody on our team wants it so bad, and we show it and we go 100% in practice all the time. We just try to give as much effort as possible because we know that a lot of people weren't really counting on us or even knew who we were. So we just like being the underdogs, and we just try to show people wrong every week because we know that they're not counting on us to win, I guess.
And but the two of us watched you guys play up here against South Summit. It was the 3rd or 4th game of the year, I think.
Yeah,
and
Oh, yeah.
we came away impressed with you. I mean, your coach is awesome. He's a very good coach.
Yep.
But right after that game, you guys went on this tear of just beating everyone. Was there like a little flip that switched on your team, or did you guys just realize the potential you had?
Yeah, that game, we went into we never beat South Summit, and so after that game, that was my last chance to be able to beat them, and so it was one of the regrets I'll have this year is never being able to beat South Summit in high school. So after that, I was like, I can't have any more regrets this year. I had a rough game that game, and Merrick, my younger brother, he went out with injury, and Ben fouled out in the 4th, and so we were just like, after that game, we all just were like, we got to be smarter, we got to be better, and then our mindset kind of flipped, especially after our judge game. That was our last game we lost, and we were in the locker room after, and we all turned to each other and were like, guys, this is the last game we're going to lose all year, is what we said. And so we haven't lost since then. We try to keep that mindset.
So you looked really impressive in the play-in game, and you know, last year your team lost to Manti in the first round by 2, so you guys have just been continuously climbing. And this year is the first year you guys will have made it to the quarterfinals. But is there any extra pressure or nerves, would you say, that play into that fact heading into Thursday, that this is, you know, it's your school's 4th year of existence and you're just barely making it into the quarters? Is there any pressure to advance on you guys, do you think?
No. So we're playing Manti like in this quarterfinals, and we owe them one from last year is what our mindset is, and we just go in there. We've been watching film, and the nerves have, after the San Juan game, we just kind of get a monkey off our chest because we've never won the play-in game. So after that game, I feel like the nerves kind of settled, and we're a lot better now.
And with your coach, I mean, he's a great coach. And what has he been saying to you guys to try to just stay focused on this game and to not, you know, overhype it and don't get overly excited, so you play with nerves, but you can play loose and relaxed?
Yeah, he was actually a really good basketball player. He played at Rich, and he tells us he played in the state championship twice, and he's just like, you guys got to be able to go out there and play loose, because he understands that we only get this opportunity a couple times in our lives, and he keeps just telling us to enjoy it, but to also with the business trip and stuff. So he tries to he's not putting too much pressure on us, but he wants us to understand that it's a big deal.
So we were there on Saturday all day, watched all 16 teams play, all 8 games. But the crazy thing about you and your team is watching the game on Saturday against San Juan, we noticed how your team basically only plays 5 starters, like all 32 minutes. And I think there was only one sub with like 30 seconds left in the first half, and that's it. And we found that really impressive. So, like, how much does your team stress conditioning, and is it a big focus in practice, or how do you cope with that?
We conditioned a lot at the beginning of the year and everything, but what we try to do in practice is have our drills and what we're going through be conditioning, as if we're doing something, we got to be running everywhere. if we're going through plays, we got to be running through plays full speed and giving all the effort so that we don't have to focus too much on just running ladders and 5.5 and 30s, that we can just condition during our drills, so we don't have to waste time doing that and we can spend more time practicing.
And with the conditioning, obviously just playing with the 5 people, do you feel like you have younger kids that could step up if there's a potential injury that happens during a game? Do you feel like the younger kids could do their job?
Oh yeah, we have another kid who's a big kid, and we have a lot of kids who can step up, and there's a couple other freshmen too that have played varsity this year throughout the year, and they've shown that they can handle it. And so
like you said, you play the Manti Templars on Thursday. They whooped up on the Grantsville Cowboys as well on Saturday. But so watching film, is there anything you guys are going in on to focus on in order to get to the semis on Friday and move on? Because they look pretty impressive too. They have a press they can break out. Adam Huff is a really good shooter for them. But is there anything your coach is having you focus on them and stopping their offense?
Oh yeah, so our head coach is Blake Plummer, but we have a defensive coach who, he is just incredible. He watches film. He's been coaching for about 16 years, and we have about 4 or 5 defenses we can go into, and we know they got a lot of shooters and that they can press, and they're really an all-around team. So yeah, but we got coaches that are just great at showing us how to beat just their defense and how to play defense.
Well, thanks for joining us. I mean, the best of luck to you and your team the rest of the year. Hopefully you guys can make something happen and come away with the state title. We really appreciate you coming on here and talking to us.
Sweet, thank you.
Thanks for listening into this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. You can now listen to us every week on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. You can find us on Apple Podcasts. It's as easy as saying, "Hey Siri, search Crown Sports in podcast."
We are on Instagram at Crown Sports Podcast and on Twitter at Crown Sports Pod. Production by Braun Butterfield, artwork by TeeTops, music by Niko, Klus, and Braun Butterfield.